Welcome back, my fellow voyagers, to a new episode of Faction Comparison. So, for this time, we take a challenge which of these factions has or had the worst government. So, the first one we are going to see for this video is the Terran Empire from Star Trek. Then we have the Galactic Empire from Star Wars, the Changeling Hive from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, the Decepticons from Transformers, Quard from Green Lantern, and Apocalypse from DC New Gods. Very well, now that we have all settled, let's begin and dig in on which faction has the worst government of all. Just a quick note before we start, we will be comparing them basing on our 4 categories, which are how much they ruled, in which way they ruled, what form of government there was, and most important of all, who their leader was and how they ruled their country or their faction. Very well. Let's that settle in and let's begin. So, first and for all, we have the Galactic Empire, also known as the Empire and later as the Old Empire. It was basically a dictatorship that replaced the Galactic Republic at the end of the Clone Wars. Though the Empire rose to power by promising to bring order to the galaxy, it oversaw a period of harsh military rule and aggressive expansion. The subsequent imperial era would last only 2 decades, for it was eventually overthrown by the Alliance to restore the Republic in the Galactic Civil War. But not before the sovereign star system of the galaxy had been largely conquered and oppressed by the Empire's forces. So, who ruled the Empire? Well, that would be the ex-Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. More precisely, his name was Darth Sidious, known also as the Dark Lord of the Sith. Palpatine's reign lasted from 19 BY to 4 ABY. Rising to power in the Galactic Senate as the Senator of Naboo, the secretive Sith Lord cultivated 2 identities, Sidious and Palpatine, using both to further his political career and deceive his way into accomplishing his goal. He orchestrated the fall of the Galactic Republic and the Jedi Order through the Clone Wars, and then established his reign over the galaxy, which lasted until his death at the Battle of Endor. So, what is to say about how he ruled? He ruled with an iron fist, even if he delegated most of his activities to his second-in-command, Darth Vader. He was mostly known to be creepy and cruel, to an incredible bad extent. So, how was the life in the Empire? Actually, not too bad, going for the dictatorship standard. Cause, for the record, they had a good sanitary system, a decent military organized system, and to conclude, it was sure a dictatorship which favorized humans as the best race, we could say, but at the same time it wasn't totally intolerant against the other races of the galaxy. A good example of an admiral who succeeded in the Empire even though he wasn't a human is Thrawn. So, that will do for the Galactic Empire. Now, let's see our next contestant. So in Star Trek there is an alternate reality in which instead of the Pacific United Federation of Planets we all know and love, instead on Earth it was born the Terran Empire, which is basically an evil federation. Primary goal is to colonize basically everything and anything which is not human or from Earth. And that's basically all we have to say about the Terran Empire. But how was life on the Empire, and how bad was the government? Well, the Galactic Empire was basically a dictatorship, a space dictatorship. The Terran Empire is more or less an oligarchy, which is very xenophobic. At least xenophobic not between the humans, but xenophobic between the Earth and whichever other race there is which is not human, or at least is not loyal to the Terran Empire or the Empire itself. So, as an oligarchy, few are in command, and most of them do not like sharing power. Everyone is greedy, everyone is evil in this reality, so everyone thinks about only one thing: profit and power. So there really isn't a nice society. Everything is encouraged by exercitating fear and terror in the hearts of So the changelings Hive and the changelings lands. Well, they basically had an authoritarian and absolute monarchy. There's nothing much to say about it. The power was enforced by Queen Chrysalis. They lived in misery and basically were scavengers searching for scraps and always being hungry. They never had a stable economy or good relation with other countries and other factions. Yeah, this will probably be like an easy one because, let's be real, this wasn't a nice government by any means. It was a good one either. It was just a very, very bad absolute monarchy type scenario. And by some means I'm glad it was over, even if I'm not really a fan of the new changelings design. So despite not being an organized government by any means, the Sinestro Corps basically owned Quard the moment they settled in. It wasn't really much of more of an oligarchy, or more likely an empire, if we want to be more precise. They basically had this empire based all about inspire great fear in the hearts of their enemies. So basically anyone which was powerful enough to instill great fear will become one of them. So what about their organized government? Who was the leader? The leader was of course Sinestro, hence the name Sinestro Corps. But he wasn't really a great leader by any means. Besides, he was dethroned more than often by whoever was capable of instill also great fear. One example will be Mongol and Darkseid himself. So yeah, it wasn't really... Sure, they are called Sinestro Corps, but they aren't really always been following Sinestro either, so yeah. So the Decepticons are basically a military dictatorship, and also an oligarchy, kind of. Basically, Megatron had the full power and the complete power over his regime, and so will be for Starscream and Tarn, which will succeed on him. So there wasn't really democracy by any means, and was surely a bad way of living life, even if you were under the Decepticon flag, which means that even if you were a Decepticon and were completely supporting and loyal to Megatron, you will still be living a pretty shitty life. Yeah. Not really a good option, I know. This was mostly due to the fact that there really wasn't an organized government either. Sure, they had the generals and rankings and all of that, but besides that, they never really had any chunk of good power like a capital or anything like that, so yeah, not really good. So, about the last entry in this comparison is, of course, Apocalypse, the dying and never-burning world ruled by Darkseid. Who other if not him? So, there isn't much to say even here, because the troops of the military system of Apocalypse are the Parademons, which are brainwashed and tortured prisoners of the Apocalypse Empire. Darkseid is an evil tyrant, and he basically tortures and kills everyone who opposes him. And even if the monarchy or absolute monarchy of the Changelings was bad, sure, this is even worse. This is even like combining Oceania from 1984 to basically one state and the Burgundian SS state of the last days of Europe. This is the worst possible scenario ever. And with that in mind, keep in mind that, yeah, we may have as well found our worst possible government, because there isn't really a government. It's just Darkseid doing whatever the shit he wants to do and whatever the hell he wants to do. Sure, he does have a council like Darkseid's elite, but they are just his sons, and basically they do whatever Dark bidding is just to bother to do alone. So yeah, with that in mind, the winner of this comparison is... Yeah, even the thumbnail could have been a spoiler, but whatever. This was my comparison for which faction has the worst government. And yeah, even if we had pretty good contenders for the title, I think that Apocalypse takes the cake in this case. It's really easy to believe that any one of these are the winners in each one in their own way. However, even if the Changeling seems like an easy one and an easy win, to be fair, Apocalypse was very worse than I initially thought without having researched on it. But after having researched on it even further, of which I have already known, I had discovered indeed that it is the worst government possible, at least if compared to the others on this list. So yeah, this was the video. I hope you all enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment to let me know what you think of this video. Bye!